went to the drive-in, and will you tell them that we went to the drive-in?
Welcome back to Mega Movie Drive-In and our 2022 Halloween special. The Mummy's Tomb, directed by Harold Young, is a sequel to The Mummy's Hand. This was released on October 23rd, 1942. Let's get into this one. I think the entrance to the passageway from the last movie is behind us in the opening credits and our title screen. We open with Steve from the last movie, again played by Dick Foran, talking with his son John, played by John Hubbard, and his girlfriend, played by Elsa Knox, and his sister Jane, played by Mary Goodman. They're just hanging out, having some good old family time, while Steve recaps the last movie for us. If you want to know a more in-depth review of that movie, you can check out our last review. So this takes place 30 years after the last movie, so R.I.P. Marta. So this is technically 1970.
At least I have the satisfaction of having destroyed a terrible monster, and in doing so, rid the world of an awful curse.
Well, you thought you were safe, Steve. Turns out Babe isn't that great of a shot after all, because George Zuko is back as Anobi, just a lot older. And this time he has a new disciple, Mahatma Bey, played by Turban Bey. Oh, and Karras is back too. This time he's played by Lon Chaney Jr. And how the hell he lived at the end of the last movie, I have no idea either. He's given one mission: kill Steve and his whole family, and anyone else involved in the last movie too. And again, like last time, the old priest dies. Mehmet brings Karras back to the United States. He sets up a job in a cemetery as a caretaker near the house where Banning lives. Convenient. And they waste no time getting to work either. This is actually a pretty cool what the fuck moment for the entire town. They just see the shadow pass by them, and it scares the crap out of all of them.
Hello, Sheriff speaking. What do you want? A shadow? You wake me up for that?
Karras goes after Steve, and he gets him right before bedtime. They think he was murdered, but by who? The next day, the sheriff, played by Cliff Clark, gets a visit from the townsfolk who all thought they saw this shadow walk past them last night. One of the things that Mahatma was told to avoid was temptation, but once he gets one look at Isabel, he's like, maybe I can break that oath a little bit. It's a new night, and it's time for some new missions for Karras. This time he gets on Jane. This time, the only witness is kind of trapped in a state of paralysis after seeing the mummy. This is Jim, the house hand, played by Paul Burns. Wallace Ford is back as Babe again. Babe knows there's a mummy on the loose, but no one wants to believe him. But unfortunately for Babe, someone overhears him talking about what he thinks is going on. Poor Babe. John and Isabel find a piece of the mummy's wrappings, and they bring it to a guy named Professor Norman, played by Frank Riker. He tells them he's 100% sure this piece of cloth came from Egypt, and it's definitely part of a mummy, whether they want to believe him or not. In the meantime, Mehmet says, "You know what? I'm giving in. Can you kidnap Isabel for me?" Karras actually shows that he's not down with this plan, but he follows orders anyway. The sheriff says, "Hey, let's skip just right to the angry mob and go find this monster." Isabel gets brought to the cemetery where they've been hiding out. He tells her, "You should be honored that I want you as a wife, baby." She takes it pretty well. Before they can do all that, the mob shows up. Hitman meets them head on, and he tries to shoot John, but that doesn't go so well for him because the sheriff caps him first. Mummy picks up Isabel and takes her back to John's dad's house? I don't know, maybe he thought the last guy went too nutty, so he's going to return her. Dave tries to save her and he gets knocked out. bad for him because the mob is already starting to burn down his dad's house. John gets up and he's able to rescue Isabel, just before the house goes down in flames. So this is the second time Karis has been lit on fire, so maybe this time with the house being brought down on top of him, this will finally be the end of him. John and Isabel get married in the meantime, and it makes front page all over. Guess not too much else was going on around town. And then good times were had by all. The end. I want to add that after the credits they have the "Here we sell U.S. war bonds" ad. I think that's a nice touch they left this in the DVD. My only complaint with this movie is it's too short. It's only just about an hour. I do hate seeing characters from the last movie get killed, but it kind of segues into the new guy, so that's alright. Maybe a little more character development would have been nice. We do get that random kind of draft card thing for John, but it really goes nowhere. Also, oddly, I think they should have flipped the name of the movies, because in the last one, we saw Ananka's tomb, but in this one, it's called The Tomb, and we don't see one, but he uses his hands more to kill. Lon Chaney is without a doubt an awesome character in this movie. Overall, not a terrible movie, just short. And up next, we have The Mummy's Ghost.